It was a hit party at the Hadley's house. 17-year-old Tyler Hadley had invited a lot of people through Facebook, and more than 60 showed up. Little did anyone know that this fun night would haunt them for years to come. Despite the music and drinks, something felt weird, and even though there was a rotting stench, the young teens didn't think much of it. But everything changed later that night when the police got a harrowing call. Tyler's parents, Blake and Mary Jo Hadley, were found dead in a room in the house. They had been dead the entire time, while everyone else partied at their home. But what happened to them, and how did they die? This is their tragic story. The Hadleys were seemingly a simple and happy family. Blake and Mary Jo Hadley had relocated to Port St. Lucie 24 years ago. Blake worked as a watch engineer at the St. Lucie nuclear power plant for 3 decades, while Mary Jo was a cherished elementary school teacher known for her unwavering support. They had a son named Tyler, who was born on February 16, 1994. Tyler was just like any other kid. He went to school, had friends, and a normal upbringing. Since childhood, he was deeply connected to his parents. He even waited up late for his father returning from a night shift at the local power plant. Everything seemed normal on the surface. But everything changed in high school for Tyler. He started skipping classes and using drugs, even getting involved in selling and buying them. He got in trouble with the law for things like arson, vandalism, thefts, and aggravated battery. And that's not all. These habits also messed with his mind. He started hanging out with the wrong crowd, and his classmates noticed a strange change in his behavior, like blurting out random things and pretending to be a cow by mooing loudly. Even his neighbors were concerned. Dee Dee Maynard stopped her son from being friends with Tyler when she found him smoking in the nearby River Park Wildlife Preserve. Just 2 weeks later, Tyler set fire to the preserve by lighting an old couch with gasoline. All of this behavior was a nightmare for parents, witnessing their child ruin their future. Blake and Mary Jo had been concerned about their son for years. They took Tyler to a psychiatrist and sought help from a substance abuse program, but nothing seemed to make a difference. However, the final straw was when Tyler drove home drunk one night. Mary Jo took away his car and phone as punishment. Tyler was furious. He confided in his best friend, Michael Mandel, that he wanted to harm his mom. Mandel dismissed it as something an angry teenager might say, unaware of the tragic events that would soon unfold. But like any concerned parents, Tyler's mom and dad were anxious about him. They chose to enroll him in an inpatient treatment program, hoping it would help him. Little did they know that expecting Tyler's recovery would turn out to be their biggest mistake. As Tyler's parents became stricter, he felt increasingly disturbed and annoyed. He didn't want to go along with the inpatient program they enrolled him in, and in his frustration, he began to plot a terrible and revengeful plan. It was July 16th, 2011. As the day grew darker, Tyler carefully made his moves. As his parents came home, he took his parents' phone so they couldn't call for help. He even locked their loyal Labrador in a closet, thinking the dog might try to protect them. In the evening that day, everything fell into pieces. Shortly before 5 p.m., Tyler ingested 3 pills of ecstasy. He had blood on his mind. He sneaked up behind his mother, Mary Jo, as she innocently worked on her computer in the family room. At that moment, he had no empathy and no emotion. He viciously attacked her with the back end of a claw hammer. Mary Jo turned and screamed, "Why?" Tyler shouted back, "Why the fuck not?" The chilling screams reached his father, Blake, who hurried out of the bedroom to investigate. Shocked by the violent assault on Mary Jo, Blake froze. Tyler then fatally attacked his father with a hammer and killed him. Tyler had murdered his own family. Having committed this horrifying act, Tyler dragged their lifeless bodies into the master bedroom. Over the next 3 hours, he coldly cleaned up the blood to erase the evidence. To further defile the scene, he heartlessly threw household items that reminded him of his parents on top of their bodies. Now, here's the stomach-churning part. Right before the murders, on the very same day, Tyler had invited people to a party at 12:15 p.m. And guess what? The entitled teen funded the gathering with his deceased parents' credit cards, captured by an ATM as he withdrew cash from their accounts. Tyler then gathered around 60 friends for the party that night, and disturbingly, some guests claimed to have noticed the smell of dead bodies. In the midst of the party, Tyler allegedly confided in several people about his atrocious deeds, but everyone took it as a joke. The party was wild. The teens were having the time of their life, but Tyler wasn't at pace. He took a short walk with his friend Michael Mandel, where he shockingly admitted to the crime. Upon returning to the party, Mandel discovered the lifeless bodies of Blake and Mary Jo in the master bedroom. Strangely, instead of leaving immediately, Mandel stayed for hours, even taking a selfie with Tyler. It was only after 4 hours that Mandel left the party and contacted a local crime hotline to report the murders. Do you think he didn't run and report it right away because he was scared of Tyler? Nonetheless, the news spread like wildfire, leading to Tyler's arrest in the early hours of the next morning. The killer was finally caught, and now it was time to pay for his actions. But before we move ahead, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more cases and tales that make one question the very fabric of justice. Tyler, being a minor, couldn't face the death penalty under Florida law. In 2014, he was given a life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole. While awaiting sentencing in jail, Tyler spent his time signing autographs for other inmates. He would take news articles about the murder, write "It's Hammer Time" on them, and sign them with his self-proclaimed nickname, Hammer Boy. In April 2016, an appeal judge overturned his sentencing, citing that the lower court didn't consider the correct alternative to a life sentence. This decision was influenced by the recent Supreme Court case, Miller v. Alabama, which changed how juvenile murders were treated in the legal system. At the time of Tyler's initial sentencing, the judicial review mechanism was not in place. Now that the law had evolved, Tyler was entitled to a judicial review in the future. Despite the original judge's efforts to comply with the new law during the sentencing, the procedure had not been codified. The new sentencing hearing was necessary to address these issues and ensure Tyler received proper justice. In December 2018, Tyler was resentenced to life in prison, but this time, the judicial review mechanism was correctly implemented. Currently, Tyler is incarcerated at the Okeechobee Correctional Institution. What are your thoughts on whether life imprisonment is a fair consequence for his actions? Do you believe he deserves more severe punishment? Share your opinions in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.